Hey y'all, this is Kim with Creative Escapades. Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. Let's jump right into our video and see what we can create.
I have seen a lot of old vinyl record art that is really cool, and I've done a few of the vinyl record clocks and acrylic pours and resin pours on them, but I've seen these with the cutout designs on the vinyl, and I've been wanting to try this, and I had a coupon at Michael's and I decided to use it on one of these hot knife cutting tools, and I decided to try to make a design on a vinyl record. So this is going to be a learning experience for me, and what not to do maybe for you if you're interested in learning how to do this. Basically, you just have your design, and then you use the hot knife to cut that design out all around the record. And I wanted to start with something easy, and I thought this design here would be fairly easy to do. There wasn't a lot of those little tiny details that they cut out to make like the city or whatever, or the outline of a city, but this wasn't as easy as I thought it was. But we're going to do it. First of all, when I'm working on something, I want to see results, and the knife will cut through this vinyl. It just takes a little bit, and instead of allowing the knife to do its job, I was trying to help it out, and I would press down into the vinyl, and it wouldn't, and tried to move it quickly, and it wasn't cutting it all the way through, so I'd have to go over it several times. So that's the one thing not to do, is just allow the knife to do the work for you. The end of my index finger is still numb from pressing down so hard, and the more that I cut the vinyl, the more that I realized I just needed to let the knife actually do the work for me and not be so impatient with it. And another thing that I learned was not to lay the knife completely flat on as I was dragging it around. It will cut faster, but it also makes it melts more of the vinyl, and you actually have melted vinyl around your cut. So then I had to sand all that off. But how I did the design, I just freehanded it onto a piece of cardboard, and then I cut the cardboard out and laid that pattern template onto the vinyl record, and then used a white paint pen to go around the edges of it so that I would have the design there. And I'm trying to remember to cut on the inside of the paint line. It does come off really easy with some alcohol, so if I don't get it exactly on the inside, I can still clean it off. But this was time consuming as far as how quickly it went. I did get it cut out in one evening, but it was several hours of cutting. So that's another thing. When I do another one, because I do want to try this again, it will be a much longer process. I will do it for a while, and then instead of just staying with the one thing until I'm completely done with it. I will come back and work on it periodically until I get the design the way I want it. So we're going to continue cutting, and I'm going to speed this up so that you don't have to sit here and watch me do this for hours. So I was proceeding cutting this out, and I was so happy because it was just moving along nicely, and I had failed to realize that in my plan I had wanted to leave the rim of the record attached, and I want a circle design, or a circle around my design, and it was only when I got over here on this side that I realized my mistake, that I had cut that other side and had to start over. So drew the design out again and started cutting again, but I learned something else too. Before I was trying to move my hand that was holding the knife to go around these curves, and I realized that I could actually turn the record and hold the knife still, and it would still cut the vinyl. So it worked out nice, and I got it all cut out, and I do have some melted vinyl around some of the edges, and I need to knock that off. So I'm using 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm just sanding those areas that the vinyl has melted and is kind of lipped up on the surface of the record. And it's not hard to do, it's just a little time consuming. And once I get it all sanded down with 80 grit, then I'm coming back in with 220 and smoothing it out, and then I'm using 400 just to fine tune and make sure that it's all flat and smooth surface. Then once I get that done, I am going to use some spray paint and give this a good coat of spray paint, and then put resin on it. Before I get ready to spray paint it, I want to make sure that I get all of the dust from the sanding off of the surface, and I do have one little place there that around the rim that I'm going to have to repair, but other than that, it's looking really good, and the edges are smooth, and I think it's going to take the resin really good. But you can see from my rag there's still a great bit of dust on there, so I want to make sure that all that is off before I do anything else. And I'm going to clean both sides. I'm going to make sure that I wipe up this before I turn the record over and clean the other side, because I don't want to contaminate the clean side.
I'm going to get this finished cleaning up, and then I'm going to spray paint it, let it dry really good, and then put a coat of resin on it. This will be part 1 of this project, and here it is with the resin on it. And my next step will be adding a clock face to this and all the clockworks, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, do so and ring that bell so you'll get notified when I upload the second part of this video and other videos. And I want to thank you for watching, and hope to see you in my next Creative Escapade. Bye bye for now.